Good evening. We're in the midst of the Aseret Yimei Tshuva, and there's one tzaddik, one of the Jewish saints that we always need with us during the Aseret Yimei Tshuva, and that's the Heilige of Levi ben Soshem and Berditchev, Schusi Gamelin Amen. And every week we try our best to learn a shtickle Kedushas Levi from his holy Sefer, and with that being said, let's continue that for this week, especially now that we need whoever can be a Melitz Yosher, whoever could be a good advocate for us in heaven. Surely this great advocate, the Sanagoria Shal Yisrael, Levi ben Soshem will be a Melitz Yosher for us, especially if we learn his Torahs, which Chazal say that Omer Davar b'Shem Omer, the Sibsois of Davar was Bekever, and so we're doing this Tova for not only for ourselves, certainly, and we're doing a mitzvah and dedication and devotion to Almighty God. But of course, we will see that the Berditchev Rav will beseech to Almighty God on our behalf the schus of us learning this Torah in honor of Almighty God and devotion to Almighty God. And in this way, we should have a Gemar Chesima Tova. So let's start. This week's Sedra is vayelech. Maybe we'll make a separate video for Yom Kippur. We'll see how far we get. Bli neder. I'm learning the Dorim 3 times right now, because I learn every day 3 prakim b'shnayos, and I learn every day Bli neder 4 Vlad Gemara and 6 on Shabbos and Yom Tov, and also I follow. There's a seder from one of the Satmar Rebbe's, and I was there when he was miyasid this, and I've been keeping up with that already since before I'm married. I'm still a bacher, so we're talking about well over 16, 17 years ago. I remember Satmar Rebbe from Kiryas Yoel was in Williamsburg, Lag Boimer, and the Tish. I went to the Tish, and he announced in Hasidic Torah that he wanted all the Hasidim, even though I'm not particularly a chassid of his more than I'm a chassid of any Rebbe, I'm a chassid of all Rebbes, but I have a shaykhis there. My family comes from that part of Europe, from Satmar, Krula, Changer, those areas. My ancestors were Rabbonim, and so it's his family. They're not from Satmar. His uncle was Rav in Satmar. But anyway, still I have a shaykhis there. Anyway, and I have other ways I have shaykhis there. And I go once in a while, not all the time, but I try our best to go to tzaddikim when we can. It's not always easy, especially I live far away from everything, but even though in the summer a lot of people are here, I've gotten a little bit shy in person, and I guess all whatever the opposite of shyness, the boldness that I have here on YouTube and Twitter and other places, and I guess got me kicked off of Facebook, I guess. I hope it's Azis to Kedusha, not just Stam Azis Pony. But anyway, here we are. So we'll learn a little bit. I can't believe I'm talking almost 5 minutes now. We didn't even start the Torah, so let's get started. And maybe we could do more if we get started. But vayelech Moshe vaydaber es kol dvarim ha'ele So this is the shortest Parsha of the year, vayelech. It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 31. It's just that chapter. And so it's 30 verses. So it's the shortest Torah reading there is. A lot of times it's together, and then some in vayelech, but this year it's by itself. So if you go to shul this Shabbos, well, maybe the Rav says the Shabbos Shuvah drasha that makes it a little longer, but the laning is very short. I guess so we have time to say Shabbos Shuvah drasha, right? So anyway, so viel Herrshalach du auf Gas. I'm learning. It's only accomplish to show years of covet. So, and it says that Moses went, he walked, and he spoke all of these words. So, the Heilige Barditch Verav of Levi in the Heilige Sefer Kedushas Levi says, Yivorel Pisham Chazal. We can explain this according to that which our sages taught, which our sages spoke. When the person leading prayers liturgically in the synagogue is described in the Talmud, sometimes he is referred to as a person who goes down in front of the ark, and sometimes he is referred to as someone who passes in front of the ark. So why do we have these two different terms that describe the same thing? So the Heilige Barditch Verav in the Hasidic tradition, a Hasidic homily, explains as follows: that when a saint, a righteous person, prays in front of God, he has to attach himself to the words of the prayer. But Tevis and Kedushas heim hamanhigim oisoi. So when you become attached to these words, because again, I mentioned that he goes down before the ark or he passes in front of the ark. But the word teva doesn't only mean ark, it also means word. So we could translate it as he goes down in front of the word or he passes in front of the word. So the words, he attaches himself to the words. And he enters into the words, right? Like Noah went into the ark, means he went into the word. Like the Baal Shem Tov talks about that, and Nachman Breslover talks about that, and all the tzaddikim talk about this a lot. But the Barditch Verav says he also has to not only go into the word, he has to pass in front of the word, go down in front of the word. What does it mean? Descend in front of the word? And so you see, he has to attach himself to the words. And those holy words of our liturgy are what are leading him. The tzaddik is being led by the word. So yesh tzaddikim gedolim asher heim u'mala mimadrega zu. So there are very big tzaddikim who are above this level. Asher heim manhigim as a teva. They are the ones that lead the word. So that's a higher level. I mean, the lower level is the word leads you. But the higher level is you lead the word. This is the spiritual level of Moses. Shahu Ba'ala de Matronisa. He's the husband of the matron. That's how Moses is described in the Holy Zohar, in the Kabbalistic homilies. V'zehu, the mystical homilies. V'zehu yored l'fnei teva. So that's what it means. There's the term of going down, of descending in front of the word. Sheteva mani goisoi. If he's going down, that means he's humbling himself, he's nullifying himself, right? So that means Sheteva mani goisoi. That means the word is leading him. Hulamata min hatevo. And so therefore the person is under the word. He's under the control of the word. He's lower than the word. But there's another type of tzaddik who passes in front of the word. What does that mean? Shehu manig ateva. That means that he leads the word. Kulamaylam in ateva. That means he's above the word. He's superior to the word. That's what it means. The term of the one who passes in front of the word. V'chan shahaya seif yamav shel Moshe. Here in Deuteronomy 31 is the last days of Moses. It would seem, from the way he's describing, that it was his last day. That these three Parshas of vayelech and Hazino and B'zois Bracha were all said on the same day, the last day of the life of Moses. It's interesting. We start the Torah with a Parsha that covers more than 1,000 years, right? Bereshis. And we end the Torah with three Parshas that all encompass one day. Anyway, this was the end of Moses' life on this earth. And so the well springs of wisdom were closed, right? Medrash, right? This is explained in the homilies in the Midrash, and that's why Hazino, the Svarmakation explained, is a bechina of asbaklaria she'ena meira, like all the other neviim, that he's speaking mechidos, that it's not a clear window in Hazino, and so the same thing, even already in vayelech, b'hoya b'bechina harishona. So therefore, at this time, Moses was on that first level, Sheteva hayamani goisoi, that the word was leading him instead of him leading the word. Zeu vayelech Moshe. That's what it means that Moses walked, vaydaber, and he spoke. Halach ladibur. He went to the word Sheteva haylamala mimenu, because the word was higher than him. He was nullifying himself before the word. V'zeh tovin davar nifle. When we look at this, we understand something very incredible, very wondrous. Lama b'shiras hazino. Oh, this is what I just said. I remembered it from other years. Why is this the next chapter, right? Chapter 32 is the Song of Hazino, the Song of Moses. Very mysterious song, right? And this song of Hazino Nevi'as Moshe Rabbeinu Stuma Ma'oid. This prophecy of Moses is very closed, very concealed. It's not, the Hebrew is very difficult, and there are many different translations, and there are words that are very poetic and mystical that you don't see throughout the rest of the Bible. Certainly not in the rest of the Torah. This type of a poetic language you see only in a few places, in the shiras, in the songs, the song at the sea, the song at the well, and this is the song of Hazinu. But Hazinu seems to be, even though all of the songs have a different type of language. It's not a plain and simple language. Hazinu is the most mysterious of them all, the most mystical of them all. There's a legend that Nachmanides said that in the Hazinu is all of human history. Right? If you ever read the book, the Bible Codes talks about that, quotes that story, and gives examples within that. It's a coded song. Ki inyan kachu. So Shalemitzinu Kedushas b'chol Torah. We don't see anything like this. Certainly not in the rest of the Torah. Ki inyan kachu. So this is the concept. Shenavuos Moshe Rabbeinu haya b'spaklaria ha'meira. The prophecy of Moses was with a clear window. But all the other prophets were not with a clear window. So when Moses' prophecy was in the clear window, he had the tremendous power that he would recite the words like he received from Hashem Yisparach, like he received from God. And these words were direct, and they were not enclosed in any type of parables or poetry or coded language or fables. It was just very, very clear. Masha'ein kein shar hanaviyim. Other prophets are not like that. They didn't have the power of Moses. Therefore, all of their prophecies had to be garbed in proverbs and in sooth and in all of these other types of things. Like the prophecy of Zechariah, which happens to be also what I'm learning now, as I learn Tanakh every day, and so now or at least I recite it. So I like I said, I have all of my Mishnayos and Gemara are all in the Dorim. Tanakh, Nevi'im, I'm in Zechariah, in Zechariah, and Zechariah is very, he talks about, he sees a vision of women with wings like storks, and they're carrying measures of flour and flying scrolls and all kinds of things, and obviously is very deep mystical visions. These are, they might sound strange to our ears, but they're very, very holy and mystical. Shar Nevi'im Shestumim Ma'oid. Other prophets, very closed type of prophecies. That's what's called an unclear, like an opaque window. So before Moses passed away, this tradition of wisdom was taken away from Moses and granted to Joshua. That's why the song of Ha'azinu, the song of Moses in Deuteronomy 32, is garbed in such a manner where it is not a clear prophecy like the other prophecies that we have elsewhere in the Torah, and it's more similar to the prophecies that you have in the other books of the Bible. Although in certain ways, I would say it's even more hidden than that. Because again, Zechariah, you can open up Zechariah and we can translate the words, right? And it just sounds very strange. In Hazinu, some of the words are difficult for us to translate. Almost more like Sefer Daniel or Sefer Eov, where you have words that are out of the ordinary.